It's taped together. There's tape on this postcard. And there's tape on the postcard, and look what I did. Now over time, the people come in and ask about shipping, what envelopes to use and stuff like that. I've always recommended they go out and buy 6 to 10 postcards from different resellers, all different ones, and see what they like the best, what they prefer as a buyer and a seller, what they can get. Some places can't get all the different envelopes and stuff like that. And I need to go back and do that again. Am I telling these people the right thing? So over time, a long time, I went out and I bought 25 different postcards from people. Now one's not a postcard. I found it. I think they're 8 by 10 photoshopped, but I got the package here. I wanted to get a bigger package and see how they do that. So over time, I spent over $100 buying postcards. An average price about $5. Nothing special, none of the big high price ones. I don't want to go broke, and I wanted to see what they do with regular postcards that we sell. So I got 25 mailings to review. Now, I got all the tools and everything I'm going to show you to open these packages. I'm prepared this time. Now, I've done this before when I did the best envelope thing. It's been a while, but I got some classics from that video I want to show you real quick. And I didn't get a lot of this stuff this time, so it's better. But I just want to show you, buying postcards over time. I save different packages just for videos like this, or just reminders what not to do. I got a postcard that was wrapped in foil inside the package. Someone wrapped my postcard in foil. This one had so much cardboard and tape on it, I didn't even know where to open it. I was afraid I was going to damage the card. And they actually paid first class to ship this to me when they could have done it for 60 cents. And then they put a big old not bend stickers all over it. And this thing isn't going to bend. I mean, I can put it in a vise, it probably wouldn't bend. So I got that one. Then people use the bigger envelopes. The problem with these, they bend. And they put a piece of cardboard in there. It's chipboard-like, but it wasn't really enough to save the card. If I remember right, this one might have came bent. But these bigger envelopes are not best because they'll do this to get them in the mailbox, is what happens. It'll protect the card. I'll save the best one for last. Then I got this. One postcard in a bubble mailer, a Scotch bubble mailer, which you're paying top dollar for. They put a piece of cardboard in it, which is good. It protected it. They put 3 do not bend stickers and a fragile sticker on it. And then they taped it all up, so I had to cut it to get it open. And they paid first class for one postcard. I didn't pay shipping. That's how they sent it to me. So they lost money. This one was a envelope, a huge one, with a big old huge piece of cardboard in it. A lot of work for just one postcard. Another big envelope, but look at the stamps. Some people, and they hand wrote the message on there. Then they stuck do not bend on it. And then they actually, and then they put it in a greeting card, and they taped the greeting card, so I had to cut that. It's just the presentation of the whole thing. And then this heavy thing. This whole thing's got stamps all over it. They counted it up with 0 on there. They got stamps on the back. They got 2 pieces of cardboard in this thing. Just a lot of work. Just overdone and stuff. But the best one I've ever gotten, let me see if I can put a postcard in here, is this one. Someone took 2 pieces of insulation drywall type stuff, that foam insulation, with duct tape on here. And this is how I got the postcard. And then inside was the postcard. So they did that and duct taped it all, and they put the postcard inside. Who would do that? I'm sorry, this isn't about roasting sellers, but this is way overboard. This is the worst presentation I ever got. The card was very well protected. You could run it over with a truck and it'd be fine. But it was a $4 or $5 postcard. And they spent all that to do this. That's the best one so far. So those are the things that I find when I do this test, when I go out and buy 6 to 10 cards. Now I bought 25 this time because I wanted a well-rounded thing, and I did it over time on there. And I'm not going to show who the seller are. I'm trying not to show who the card is. I just want to look at the packaging to see if there's anything new that I can do differently. Anything I really like. Or if I'm telling people to go out and do this, what are they seeing? Are they seeing the good stuff? And you're going to see here different things. And I said to myself, I need to grade these in a certain way. I need to put some kind of numbers to it. I'm a numbers guy. So I'm going to go through, and I'm probably biased because I'm a reseller. But I'm going to look at it from a buyer standpoint and a seller standpoint. And I'm going to do a presentation. I'm going to do one of these little cards for each one. And I'll put it on the screen here. First one is presentation. As a buyer, getting a package, what does it look like? Does it look professional? Does it look good? And each one of these get 10 points. So that's the presentation. I mean, if it's just nasty and just folded, and we're going to see. But I'm going to probably be a little biased on the seller side, but I'm going to try to be good. Ease of opening. I'm going to tell you right up front, if it has any kind of packing tape on there, that clear tape you use on boxes, on the envelope, it's going to go down in points. That drives me nuts, because I'm always afraid I'm going to cut that and to get it and break a card. There's no reason to put packing tape on these things if you use the right envelope. And the envelope, if it's too big, too small, what do I think of it? There's some good ones here, and there's some ones that need help. I think they overdone on there, but if the envelope's okay there, but the best one is the EcoSwift, and that most of those will get a 10. Protection. Overprotected, underprotected. I'm going to be biased, but I'm going to also, from a buyer standpoint, did I get my card? So if the card, so I'm going to start at probably 5 points right there, and I'm going to go up or down. Did the card come safely, no bends? Then it's going to be a 5, and then I'll look at the other protection, see if they did well enough, and go from there. So basically everything starts at 5 and goes up and down. And then the cost, from a seller standpoint, what did the cost? Could they have done it cheaper to save money? Now some of these are using stamps and stuff like that, so we're going to go through theirs. And then we're going to get a total score for each one. And I have a little chart here, a little spreadsheet put together that I'll show at the end. And really what we want to look at is at the end is where are the problems. What is good and what is bad all the way at the end. And at the bottom there, I did give some extra credit. So if something comes as outstanding, they could get an extra credit. Just to say so. But go ahead and get a piece of paper and just write along with me what you think and see if you come close to me. And there. And again, this isn't about, I blocked out all the addresses, all the I can't even tell you who the sellers are. I'm not even worried about that. As long as it came in, I put a thing right over the top, and it's been a while since I bought these over time. I'm not even looking at the sellers. I'm not going to, even if I can see it, I won't tell you who it is. Because I'm not grading them, I'm grading the package on there. And it's just one of those things you need to do once in a while. Now the tools I got this time. I got a little letter opener. I got my X-Acto knife. Let me get it out here, but I don't want to cut my finger. I didn't get any Band-Aids. I got my little knife with a razor blade. And we're going to christen my fancy dancy letter opener. Looks like a dagger. I had this forever. I never used it, or I think I was going to sell it. I got it in a lot of something. So we're going to christen this thing and see if I open it. So I got 4 things to open these, and I got scissors. And we'll see how it goes. And remember, I'm going to go through each one of these, and then I'm going to grade them, and I'm going to write them on the card, and then at the end I'll put the cards together. But I will show the card on what I did with. So number 1 here comes up. Nice envelope. It's made to fit the card. It's really solidly done. So it's a nice presentation. It feels good. I would probably say with the presentation, just the way it feels and everything, it feels professionally done. I would say that's a 10. Now, ease of opening. This is a paper envelope. I don't have a camera pointing down, so that wasn't too hard to open. And then we'll look inside. We got a little piece of paper that's been protected. There's no sleeve. Got a little packing slip here. Just basically tells me what I bought. It just tells me what I bought. so it doesn't really do anything. You got 2 pieces of paper, and the card is a Continental card, and it is safe. Now with the envelope, they basically put this in a printer and printed my address. They didn't use the eBay standard envelope, and they did a stamp. So ease of opening, it was easy to open. That's a 10. The envelope, I would say, it was protected with the paper. It's a paper envelope. I'm going to give paper envelopes like a 9, 8 or 9, just to start off. Protection, I think it was pretty well protected because the envelope was the same size. There's no bending. It was small enough to fit in a slot or a mailbox. I would say there's no sleeve on it, so I'm going to give it a 9. Then the cost. Did the printer and the handwritten, didn't get the insurance with the ESE and stuff like that. It still made it. They used the stamp and the label. They didn't get the tracking with eBay. They're missing out from a seller. This is the one from a seller standpoint. I would probably give this a 7 because they're not using the most efficient tools that they can. But they might not have the printer to do that. But they should have an incentive to keep going forward with newer stuff that makes it easier. So I'm going to give it a 7. Okay, so the final tally on number 1 is this. 10 on presentation, 10 on opening, 8 on the envelope, 9 on protection, 7 on the cost. Gives them a score of 44. So they got 44 points for this card here. Not too bad. Next one, I can tell you right up front, this is the wrong envelope. It's too big for one postcard. It's just that big. So on the envelope, I'm going to give them a 5. At least it's in an envelope. So it's not up or down. Actually, yeah, I'll give them a 5. I want to be, they're taking the time to put it in there. Ease of opening, not bad. I haven't had to use a tool yet. Then inside, they wrote on there, postcards are included on the piece of paper. Really no need to do that. It's a little extra work than you should. So I got a piece of paper, and then we got this folded origami thing in there. They took the time to fold another piece of paper, and this one's actually got 2 postcards, 1 and 3 postcards, and they're kind of stuck. See the tape? He taped them together. It's taped together. There's tape on this postcard, and there's tape on the postcard, and look what I did. I pulled the tape off, and I pulled the peeling off the postcard because there's tape in there, and then this in there. So that protection was good, but I just destroyed this postcard by pulling that tape off of there. It was taped inside. So 3 postcards, protection. They did put the paper in there and stuff like that, but I'm going to give them a 0 since by pulling the tape off, I destroyed the post. Cost-wise, they actually used eBay standard envelope. They printed it on a thing. It didn't matter if it's a thermal printer or not. From my ESE and cost, I'd give them a 10. And then ease of opening, it wasn't hard to open, so that's a 10. Okay, so for number 2, I ended up with the presentation of 9. I mean, it wasn't bad looking. It was not a whole bunch of stickers on it, stuff like that. So when I picked it up out of the mailbox, I picked it up here as a 9. Ease of opening, 10. It was a paper envelope. I didn't have to use a tool. Envelope is too big. They're going to bend it like this to get into the mailbox and stuff like that. So I give it a 5. Protection, 0. I destroyed a postcard because they had tape inside. They just threw it in, had all that paper on it, but they just threw it in there. The cost, they used the eBay standard envelope, saved the money. That's a 10. So a total is 27. If they would have protected the cards inside a little bit better, I wouldn't have ripped that postcard. Next one, A10 envelopes. These are not the best in the world to use. They're too big. Look at that. See where it bends? That's what this one's got a bend in it already. So presentation wise, it's not bad. It's an envelope. I mean, I'm not going to take any points off. It wasn't dirty, wasn't all taped up and stuff like that. So the presentation's not bad on there. So on the presentation, I just, from a seller standpoint, I have to give it a 9. I just don't. And then inside here, they have the little chipboard or the cardboard, and they put tape around everything. So far, I haven't used the tools. So this is protected pretty good. They used a cereal box, Rice Krispie. Has a sleeve on it. Oh, this is one of the nice cards. Look at that card. Nice pennant card. It's got a sleeve on it. It was protected well. I think the envelope's going to bring that down a little bit on there. They did not use ESE. They actually wrote my address in pen and stuff, but that'll be a nice card to do. So ease of opening, that's a 10. I mean, it was just a paper envelope, and inside the Scotch tape popped pretty easily. The envelope, I would probably give it a 5. It's not the right envelope. It's not that well protected. On there, they did have the stuff in there, but I just don't care for the A10 envelopes because they're too long and they do bend, and you're going to see that here in a second. Protection, it was pretty well protected. It had the chipboard or the cardboard in there, and it was just Scotch tape on 3 sides. I'd probably give that an 8. But they didn't use ESE or the cost and stuff on there. They just used the stamp, if that's what they want to use. And I gave the other one a 7. I'm going to give this one probably a 7 as well. They could have saved a little bit of money. So they ended up with a 39. Presentation, 9. Ease of opening, 10. Envelope, 5. Protection, an 8. And that was a nice card. It felt protected to me as a buyer. As a seller, I wouldn't have done it like that, but as a buyer, I was happy with it. And the cost could have saved a little bit, but I gave them a 739 point. Next one, the presentation, to me, this feels cheap. I don't know why. The envelope feels small, which is good, but also it's still a little bit longer than it should be. So the presentation, and they only, see how that just pops right open. I mean, it could have popped open at the thing, so the protection's going to go down. Then they put a couple pieces of cardboard in here, but look at that, it's not the same size as the card, so it can bend and stuff like that. But look at that card, it's got a little, I think I bought that one because it's got a mobile station on there. The card's okay, no sleeve and stuff like that. Presentation, I just didn't feel it like it was quality. It was just something thrown in. I didn't feel, I don't know, I just didn't feel it. I'd say presentation's a 7. Ease of opening, it was easy, it just popped right open. 10. The envelope, I'm going to give you, since that envelope just was ready to go, it could have happened at the mailbox, I'm going to give you a 4 on the envelope. And protection, there was no sleeve, the cardboard's too small, this wasn't the right envelope with the glue and stuff on there. I would say the protection's going to be a 2. And they actually wrote my address on this one too. They lost cost on there. It did get here, they did use the stamp. I'm going to give that a 6. So that one got a 28. I give them a 7 on presentation, 10 on ease of opening, 4 on envelope, 2 on protection, and 6 on ESE. Starting to get into the flow of things. I don't do this that often. Next one, and like I said, you're going down if you put packing tape on any kind of envelope. That is just drives me crazy. So this is a big brown envelope. A lot of wasted space in there that it can bend. It doesn't really feel like it won't bend. They can't bend it, and they got tape on the top. So now I got to get my tool. I've got to actually slit that tape to get this open without cutting the postcard. Let's see if I did it. So now I'm trying to get this thing open. Well, cutting the tape didn't work. They wrapped it around the side. And here's the postcard, wrapped in 2 index cards. I mean, really taped. Jeez, I gotta use the... I had to use the knife to get this thing open. They taped on there. Oh, it's a NASA card. And then the sleeves taped as well. So people don't like this tape residue. So there's tape on the sleeve. So to get that out, I gotta either cut it or bend the card and stuff like that. So a little bit more work for a postcard than I think you should have. Presentation, just bigger than I really thought. It didn't feel secure as well. I'm going to give them a 7 on that. Ease of opening was not good at all. I'm going to give them a 2. Too much tape. They put that packing tape on the outside. I had to get the knife out. And then inside, they had more tape, and then they had tape on the sleeve. So way tape heavy for me. And the envelope, I'm going to give them a, it did come secure. It was in there. I'm going to give them a 4 on the envelope. Protection, I don't feel it's been really protected as well. So it's going to be a 4. And let's see if they use ESE. Yep, they used eBay standard envelope, and they did it really small. So they did use that, so that gets a 10. So that's a 27 is what that one got. Next one I got here is another A10 envelope. Look at that. Just you can actually see the card. The card is right in the middle, and this is bent already and stuff like that. They did use ESE standard envelope. I can actually see where to rip this, so opening is not hard. And then they put it in between, what did they do here? They just taped it on 2 sides, so not bad. It's a motel card, it's got a sleeve. Not too bad on that one. Presentation, I just wasn't feeling it with the A10 envelopes. Ease of opening is a 10. Envelope, they're going to get a 5. Protection, I don't think with those A10, those longer envelopes, but this was pretty good here. I'll give them a 6. They did use ESE, so that's a 10. So they got a 38. And you'll see all these at the end here. Now this one was interesting. Same thing. It's got a little nice sticker on the back, and it was mailed. And they put a "Do Not Bend" sticker on there. But look at this. It's already bent. They don't look at those. So I can rip this one like this. Don't make it hard for people to think, oh my god. Oh, I thought they taped it. Another one, they only taped 3 sides, so you can pull the card right out. So it does have protection of some kind of board. And this is a large letter. It's got a sleeve, not too bad. They didn't use EFC standard envelope in there. So presentation, again, I'm going to give them a 7. Ease of opening, not bad at all. I'm going to give them a 9. No, I'm going to, yeah, 9. Envelope, I'm going to give them a 6. I don't care for the "Do Not Bend" and stuff like that on there. Protection, with that envelope and stuff, they're going to get a 6, a 7. And then they didn't use ESC. So what did I give the other ones? They used the stamp. I'm going to give them a 7 for that on there. They get a 43. They did take a little extra care on there. I think they can even bring it to the next level. Same thing again. Another long envelope. This one's got cardboard all the way through. They used ESC standard envelope. I've only had to use the tool on one so far. Uh-oh. Got it open. It's got a piece of vanilla folded. And there's the card. Inventory number on the sleeve. I never do that. I always send them a new one. Everything's nice and protected. Looks good. Did they use eBay standard envelope? Nope. So presentation, again, I'm going to give it the same 7, just because I don't care for the envelope. Ease of opening, I'll give it a 9. Envelope, I don't care for the envelope. I'm going to give them a 6. Protection, it was okay, but this stuff is just flimsy. It's not really going to protect that much of anything. The sleeve, it'll do the same thing the sleeve does, basically. They can still bend it. So I'm going to give them a 6 on that. Didn't use ESE, but I'll give them a 7 on that. 35. Next one is kind of a bigger envelope than needed. It did the job, but they put packing tape on the back, right there. This is going to be hard to open. It's going to be, let me see. I can't even rip it down the side. That's it. I rip it here, and then it stops because of the tape. I'm using my knife here, so I had to use a knife because of the packing tape won't rip on there. Got a nice thank you. And then they put tape on there. NASA Continental card. This was nice, I mean, but it's still not going to do that much for that envelope. They're still going to do this to get it inside of, if it doesn't fit in a slot or a smaller post up, they're still going to do this to get it in there. Doesn't stop that at all. Give it a little bit of protection. The protection ain't bad. I would probably give it, I would say an 8. Presentation wasn't bad. That was an 8. Ease of opening, that's a 4 with that packing tape on there. I had to get the tool. Envelope, I'm going to say a 6 on the envelope. It's just not the right envelope. Is that what I gave the other ones? Yeah, 6. Protection, it was good, but it just wasn't the greatest. So I'm going to give them a 7. And did they use eBay standard envelope? Nope, they just stamp on a label. So I'm gonna give them a 6 on that. On there, so comes up with a 31. Next one again is another envelope, but guess what? Packing tape on an envelope. That's a 5 right there. I mean 4. I'm just gonna bring it down. So to open this, you have to get the tool, but they put packing tape on an envelope. And they didn't use eBay standard envelope. They actually wrote the address and used the stamp. The card came in 2 cards. Astronaut. And this card has tape on it. Didn't damage it, but another astronaut. They put it in this thing that had some glue on there, some tape residue, and it stuck to the card. Didn't damage it, but it could have. So presentation, still not happy with the envelope. I'm going to give them a 7. Ease of opening, it's a 4. It's got packing tape on it. Envelope, I just don't care for these greeting card envelopes, but I'll give them a 7. Protection, I'll say it was pretty well protected, but when it got to that stuff with the glue tape residue stuff on there, I got to give them a 6 because it could have damaged the card if any longer. And they didn't use ESE, so I'm going to give them a 7 on that. Have we been picking up any best practices yet? That's what I'm looking for, is anything new, anything that innovative and stuff like that. And I haven't seen any of that yet. It's interesting that we haven't seen any innovative things that would make it easier or cost savings or anything like that. As I said in my other video, don't reinvent the wheel. What else can you do with this? Got a green one. Look how pretty. This is one of those greeting card things. No ESE, handwritten thing on there. Nice presentation. And Space Shuttle Flight Deck, Kennedy Space Center, thank you. No reason to write all that on there. Nice heavy cardboard. This is nice cardstock. Comes in a nice sleeve. Look at that stuff. Cockpit. Space Shuttle. Nice heavy sleeve. That one, the presentation, I'm going to give it a, even though it's colored and I'm not a real bougie type guy, that felt good. I'm going to give that one a 9. It's still not the best envelope. Ease of opening, piece of cake. Nothing with that. The envelope, I still don't like the envelope. I'm going to give it a 7. Protection, with this heavier piece of cardstock in there and stuff, I'm going to give that an 8. In ESE, they didn't do that. I'm going to give that a 7. So that was one of the better ones that I liked. 41. Wasn't bad. So buy and have, I mean, you're going to spend a little bit more for colored envelopes and stuff like that. From a seller standpoint, I just don't do this, but from a customer standpoint, this wasn't a bad presentation, but is it going to get you any more sales? I don't think so. Then you get in this one. Another one. It's bent. It's an A10 envelope. Look what it says right on the bottom. Do not bend. And what did they do? They bent it. Did they use packing tape? No, that's my label. So not hard to open. It's wrapped in paper. And no sleeve on the card, just wrapped in paper. Didn't take care of my postcard. So the presentation, just wasn't feeling with that. I'm going to give it an 8. Ease of opening, I'm going to give it a 9. It was no tools needed and stuff. Envelope, it was bent and it had the sticker on there and stuff like that. I'm going to give it a 6. Protection, they're just not a lot of, I just didn't feel like they protected my product. And that could be from a bias of a seller or a collector or a reseller, but it didn't have a sleeve on it. It had paper, and there was really nothing in that envelope that would protect it. I'm going to give it a 6. And they didn't use eBay standard envelope. They just stuck a lot of stamps, which is fine. I'm going to give them a 7 on that. Because they're using up their, maybe they got some stamps from something. So let's see what they come up. They came up with a 36. Next one looks like the same seller. It's got the do not bend on the side. This one doesn't have the bend. He didn't use ESE standard envelope. It's got stamps again on there, which is, I'm trying to open this. Ooh, this glue, yeah, it stayed on there. Another piece of paper. Some kind of real light. This is just heavyweight paper, nothing to protect it. And this is a Navy ship or cover. Yeah, Navy cover on there. No protection on it. This is older paper from 1985 and stuff like that. Just really nothing protection. It's basically the same thing as before. An 8 on presentation. I don't care just the way it feels, and I just wasn't feeling it. Ease of opening, I'll give it a 9. It wasn't hard to open. Envelope, I'll give it a 6. Protection, I'm going to give it a 5. There's just, should have some kind of sleeve or something, because that paper can have some sliding in there and stuff like that. eBay standard envelope, no, didn't use it, but I'll give them a 7. 35. You guys notice this isn't pretty exciting like the last one I did. I'm not getting a lot of weird stuff. This next one is just another A10 envelope with a lot of things. Do not bend on it. Get it in there. Piece of paper is protecting it. And just one of those little thin piece of cardboard, and it's another another cover. It's a Grand Canyon cover. And this one actually had a wax thing protecting it. That's what it should have. Something like this, some kind of sleeve protecting it. So that's going to get a little bit higher on there. Presentation, I didn't really care for it. I'll give it an 8. Ease of opening is a 9. Envelope, I'm going to give it a 6. I just don't like those envelopes. Protection, I'm going to give this one a 7. I'm going to give this one an 8. Now, I'll give it a 7 because it could still bend because it was in the longer envelope. Then the ESE, they still wrote my name on there, so they're going to get a 7. But that little piece of wax paper made all the difference to how I felt about that. 37. Yeah, not real bad ones yet. Oh, but then we get into this. Ta-da! Look at this puppy. Look how big this is. How much wasted space right there. How much waste. There's nothing down in the bottom of this. There's nothing here. It's all right up here. And they've already bent it to get it in a mailbox. And they use packing tape on the back. This is probably going to be one of the worst ones. And they hand wrote my name on there. Why would you send something that small in something this size? Now, to open this, I just ripped the bottom. There's nothing in the bottom. And this is a panoramic card. I bought one of those. I think they could have done something different than that big old thing and secure this one. There's no sleeve on this or nothing protecting this. There's no cardboard or whatever. But I wanted to buy a bigger one because I want, how I ship these is I got these from 15-inch ones from eBay, and I wanted to see how people do these because I'm starting to get a few more of these. I was going to put them up, but I just don't. They're in the back of my mind about shipping. If I get anything this big on postcards, what do I do? This does not show me what I need to do. It's a bigger than a postcard, but I think I would do a different envelope or do something different with this on there. With presentation, that big old thing, and it's a postcard, I'm going to give it a 1. Ease of opening, it was easy to open, but I had packing tape on the back. I'm going to give it a 4. That packing tape just there, and as big it is. The envelope, I'm going to give it a 0. That is just not the best way to do that. Protection, I'm going to give it a 0. There's no protection on this card that would protect it from anything. And ESE cost, they're using the wrong envelope, didn't use ESE, and stuff like that. I'm going to give it a 3. They spent way too much for the envelope and stuff like that. They got 8 points. That's the worst one so far. Then I went and I bought one from overseas. I wanted to see if anything in a different country would give us something different. Anything there. And if you look at this, they put photos do not bend. They got some kind of airmail thing going on. They use stamps over there. Feels good. This feels tight. It feels protected. So the presentation on this, I would give it a 9. They put a little bit of tape on each side there, so I can't really get in there to open it. But I'm able to get through there. The tape isn't too much. It's just enough to hold the flap down on there. And it comes out. And then inside, they have the paper. They have a nice piece, heavy cardboard, stock like cereal box. Little card thanks. And this is a wagon. And it's got a sleeve on it. So that was, I felt good about that. That thing felt tight. It felt like it couldn't bend. It was packed to the size of the card. The cardboard was the size of the card. And stuff like that. I think that one was done. The presentation I'm feeling on that one is a 10. The ease of opening could have been a little bit better. With the tape on the side, I couldn't get if it wasn't for the glue coming up a little bit, I probably wouldn't get it home. So I'm gonna give it an 8. The envelope, I would say it's a 9. It's not the best envelope. Protection, it was very well protected. All around the sides and stuff like that. I'm gonna give that a 9. Cost, I don't know about shipping over there and stuff like that. I can't go up or down with them, so I'm gonna give them a 10, saying that they didn't cost a lot to get here, and I'm never shipped from over there, so I can't be biased on that. 46 with that one. That one just felt good. Next one, another do not bend. Look what happened. A10 envelope. Ease of opening, just pull that right off. Pull it out. Piece of cardboard. This one actually protected. Oh yeah. 2 mermaids. Right there. 2 Wiki-Wachi mermaids. And you know these cards are $8 to $10 at least for these 2, but there's no sleeves on them. It was only protected by this. So they could have done a little bit better. Sleeves are cheap. I would say presentation, I'm going to give it an 8. I just don't care for the bend and stuff in the envelope. Ease of opening, I'm going to give it a 9. Envelope, 6. Protection, I'm going to give it a 7. It didn't have the sleeves. And they wrote my name on there for the address, so they didn't use the up-to-date tools. Still made it. No damage to the cards. And that one gets a 37. And I'm doing these little cards here. I got them right here just so I want to go check my numbers. Another A10 envelope. Look what happens. They bent it. There's a crease in there to what the card is. They went a little bit further there. And they put packing tape on it. See the glistening in there? I'm not going to be able to do this because packing tape. They bend the cards when you use that type of tape on them. I got 2 pieces of light paper, and I got a card, and I think this is Sun Valley. Nope, just a skiing thing, no sleeve, 2 cheap pieces of paper, and a big envelope with a bend in it. Presentation, I'm gonna give it a 7. I just wasn't feeling it. Ease of opening, it would have been easier if they didn't put the packing tape on there. I'm gonna give it a 6. So I could have the opportunity of bending my card. The envelope, I'm going to give it a 6. I'm going to give it a 4 on opening because I used the packing tape like I did the other ones. Protection, there was hardly any protection in here. I'm going to give it a 5. ESE and cost, they wrote, actually typed my name onto the envelope. So they're spending time to do stuff like that. I'm going to give it a 6. 28. Packing tape can tell you. Especially with me. Next one, another A10 envelope. This is not innovative. This is not what I look for. Now, some people use these and they do fine with it. But remember, I could be biased on what I do from a buyer and a seller standpoint. I'm not saying this is the wrong way to do it. I'm just saying from my standpoint as a buyer and what I'm doing, I don't care for these envelopes. Now, you might like them, you don't care for mine. We can agree to disagree. But I'm here grading these and stuff. Now, these are easy to open. They're cheap to get and stuff like that. So there is some things in there. This one didn't use tape on there. Had a nice piece of heavy cardboard on there. The card popped out, not in a sleeve, right up against the side of the envelope. A sleeve is less than a penny if you buy them right on there. And they wrote my name on there. So cost 7, protection, I'm going to give it a 5. Wasn't really protected. Envelope 6, ease of opening, that's a 10. Presentation, give it an 8. I just don't care to get paper envelopes. And some people say I'm being picky about that, and it's fine, but you got to remember, thousands of postcards you sell to sellers, they could have one pet peeve about stuff. Me is the A10 envelopes. They're just too long for a regular standard postcard. That's the way I feel. And I always wanted to hunt for something that was about the same size, so they don't have a chance of bending. Winding down. Now we're getting down to this one. This feels good. This is another one of those, feels tight. Everything's the right size. The cardboard inside I can feel. Everything feels tight and secure. And it's got ESE standard envelope. Not a bad envelope. It's made out of that more heavier cardboard, not like the eBay ones. Now let's see about opening this. I haven't had to use the tools too much. I can just use my fingers. This one I can tell is a little heavier, not as heavy as the EcoSwift envelopes. And they put it inside here. I got my little packing slip. And now, this is a cut up EcoSwift 6x4. And then they put it in there and put it in a sleeve. It's a mermaid. Yes. So they cut up a 6x4 envelope and mailed it in the other one and put it inside. I don't get it. But this protected it. This is 250 GSM. That was very well done. I felt good about that. And they used the ESE standard envelope. So the presentation to me on that one, it felt good in my hands. It wasn't loose. It didn't feel flimsy. That's the presentation when they get it. That's the first thing people are going to see when you get it. So the presentation, I'm going to give a 10 on that one. Ease of opening, little thicker envelope and stuff, not bad. I'm going to give it a 9. No, I'm going to give it a 10 also, because the ESE, it secured it. The envelope, I'm going to give it a 9. Now, I'm going to give it a 10. I think the envelope is good. And protection, this is very well protected. Everything looked great. They had it inside one of these, inside a 10. And they used the ESE envelope. That's a 50 right there. That gets top score. There's no issues, and it wasn't hard for them to do that, to make that. So 50. I felt good with that one. I was feeling that one. Next one, a little bit bigger than it should be, but it feels good. This is another one that feels the same size. Everything could use a little stiffer, I think. Now it's good. They hand wrote my name, used a stamp, not ESE envelope. Let's see about opening it. It's a little lighter than the other one. Presentation. I mean, protection is there, but putting greeting cards and stuff in there, I just think that's a presentation thing. It's not, to me, it's not professional to do that, but it did protect it, but not as much. This is a Grand Canyon deckled edge card. See, I just don't care for this. It's a cheap way of going out, I think, of putting extra stuff like that in there. That maybe it's just me from a buyer standpoint, but I like to see a nice presentation on there. It's not bad. It protects it. I'm going to give it an 8 on presentation. Just not feeling that one. Ease of opening was easy. The envelope, a little bit bigger than it needs to be, but it was protected. It's paper. I'm going to give it an 8. Protection, I'm going to give it a 7. They could have put this in a sleeve or something a little bit more protected. And they wrote my name on there, so they get a 7 on cost. I'm trying to be consistent here, but I think my bias is coming out on some things, but I'm trying to, that's a 40. Got about 4 left. EcoSwift, envelope, feel that. Solid, good. They use stamps.com. They're using stamps.com, they got 57 cents. That tells you how long ago that I bought this card on there. So I think there's, if you sell a lot of cards and do a lot of postage, I think stamps.com would be worth it, but I think you pay like $20 a month or something. So I think I don't know the whole story there, but easy to open. Got a nice thing. little bit of marketing crap. Nice new sleeve, put it right in my collection if I wanted to. Very well done. Presentation, the feel of that, like I said, the feel of that was tight. Everything was there, not loose. It felt stiff. It felt like I got quality, is what it is. So presentation, I'm going to give it a 10. Ease of opening, 10. Envelope, a 10. Protection, a 10. Cost, Stamps.com. Just the way I see this, I'm going to give them an 8. Because I think having subscriptions nowadays, you need to watch those. And I don't know if you sell enough. There's a lot of extra cost to Stamps.com. And you got to watch. For a regular seller, it's not worth it to me. I've investigated before. It could change now, but I didn't do that. So I'm going to give it an 8. At least they're automating and using the tool. But ESE standard envelope would probably do just as well. So they got a 48 on that one. So if they want to reduce the cost from a seller standpoint, why not use eBay standard envelope? What's the difference? You get insurance. Next one, another Echo Swift envelope. They cut the name out on a piece of paper and taped it. Use stamps, not ESE. It feels good. It feels tight. It feels protected. Did they put tape on here? Oh my God. They put packing tape on one of these envelopes. Or they put Scotch tape. And you know what? Why didn't they use that? They could have done that. Why didn't they do that? That's weird. So the card came in that there. Nice sleeve. Brand new. I can put it right in my collection. So presentation, it felt good. It felt tight. It felt not loose, not flimsy. I'm going to give it a 10. Ease of opening, I'm going to give it a 9. Envelope was a 10. Protection, they didn't use the self-sealer, and they just used Scotch tape across there. But it did have that. I'm gonna give it a 9. I just don't like that they didn't use the tool. They didn't use the self-sealing part of the envelope. Use what you got. Why use the tape? And the cost and stuff, they could have used ESE, so I'm gonna give it a 7. 45. Just by using those envelopes gets me feeling better. Even though I'm biased toward them, this same thing. Another Echo Swift 6.5 by 4.5. I have them in the video description before. If you want to test them, I have them in the Ko-Fi store. You can get 10 for $2.75 plus shipping just to try them. They sell them on Amazon, eBay, but I have links down there. If you do that, we get a little cut. This is a nice envelope. It feels tight. It just by itself feels good. They used eBay standard envelope, and you know, there sometimes can be a pain to open, but once you get your finger in there, they're sealed. And guess what? They do it like I do. They pick it out. No extra cardboard, or did they put extra cardboard in there? Nope, no extra cardboard or anything in there. And it felt solid, and it's nice. Just one sleeve, it's a flag one. Brand new sleeve, no crap on the sleeve, no inventory numbers, just something really good. I got quality. Presentation, 10. Ease of opening, 10. Envelope, 10. Protection, 10. eBay standard envelope, 10. Another 50. How easy is that? No extra cardboard, no extra this, no extra postcards to hold it together, and stuff like that. Just very simple. It felt good. Now I got the last one. This is I forgot what I bought. But I wanted to buy something bigger to see how people pack something bigger. Some 8x10s, because I'm on the fence on how I'm doing it and stuff like that with cost and things like that. I do have some 8x10s, so I wanted to see. I'm going to tell you right up front, this is solid. This is not going to bend. This feels good. This feels solid on there. So the presentation to me is, I got something that's been protected here. I mean, it's solid on there. So the presentation, but look at this. They got 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I buy this from Adam from Pittsburgh? He likes things like this. So he's got 4 do not bend stickers. This is not gonna bend. Why put 4 stickers on there? I think they get the message. I missed that one there. Now, so this is very good. Now, my only question is, how am I going to open this? Let's see. I'm going to rip it along the bottom here. Let's see what it does. That wasn't bad. Now, let me see if I can pull it out. Yep, it comes right out. No wonder it's so solid. This guy used that foam board. Little expensive. They used packing tape in there. So I got to get the tool. Got to get the tool. And cut that. Cut that. If they have to use the tool to get into your envelope, in there, but this is a package, so he secured it. Haven't used the scissors or anything, so he actually used this foam. A little more than I would. Uh-oh. Then he actually packing taped this on there. How am I going to get this open? Oh, he left it like that. It's a FedEx thing, so they're using the different things. Call the police. And he left the envelope where I can just go right inside and pull these out, I think. Let's see. There they are. So opening wasn't bad. He a little innovative there. What do I got here? Oh, space shuttle. I remember these, I think. Space shuttle picture. Space shuttle 8x10s. Space shuttle getting oil change. And space shuttle. Very well protected. No creasing. Everything's solid. Looks really good. I gotta put these somewhere where they don't get bent. But I can't grade it on cost on shipping because they did use eBay envelope. I think the stickers, the presentation, it gives a warm fuzzy to the seller, but it's just overkill with 4 of them. I think this is kind of innovative, but to cut these and stuff like that, a little costly, but it did feel good. But then the way he put the envelope in there, taped the envelope around, and he left the top open, and then you just rip the top and then pull the things off. That was pretty neat. So that wasn't bad. So let's see how we can grade this package. Presentation, I would say I'd give it a 10, except the do not bend stickers, but from a non-shipping person, it felt good. I mean, it was solid. So I would say a 10. Ease of opening wasn't bad. I had to use the tool, but it's a package, so I'm going to give it a 10. And the way he did the envelope, I just had to rip it off and pull them out. No chance of bending those 8x10s. The envelope, the package, I can't really say much about that. Protection, 100%. I mean, it's protected. But then the cost. Not ESE, but the cost. I think if you did a lot of these, you can cut your cost down with this. But I like this envelope thing. I like how he did that. He just took like a FedEx or something, and he taped it in there and left the top, and I just pulled that across and reached in and pulled them out. So I kind of like that, but the cost on there, I would have to give them a 6. I think they're one piece of cardboard or something like that. Could have been done the same thing. A little bit of cost there, not much, but he's got a 46 on the package. Again, if you looked at whatever I've done so far, it was the feel, the presentation. I tried to stay as a buyer as much as possible, but how did these feel? If they come in real loose and bent and stuff, boom, concerns go in your head right away. Okay, I got to go through the return process, or I got to deal with this guy again. It's all bent up. Or if they get a nice envelope, these eBay Echo Swift envelopes, 6.5 by 4.5, put it in there with a sleeve and send them out. I've sent thousands and thousands and thousands of these, and never had a question about protection or sleeve. Even when people tell you in the thing, please put a piece of cardboard in there and stuff like that, and they've only paid 60 cents, regular shipping for it. I never do it. I just put it in there with a brand new sleeve. I always give them a new sleeve. I don't leave my inventory stuff on there and stuff like that, because they're just going to throw it away or stick it in there or whatever. And I reuse the sleeves afterwards, so it's fine. I get them really cheap. And if you want sleeves, I got those in the Ko-Fi store too, for like $3.75 a pack. And if you're a member of Ko-Fi, at the white border and divided back, you get 40% off. You can get those for $2.25 a pack for standard envelope sleeve or postcard sleeves plus shipping. So I've sold a lot of them. in there, and it's not much for stuff like that to make the difference. So again, it was the feel, the presentation just sets the pace. Not a lot of garbage in there. I didn't get a lot of thank you notes and all that garbage in there. A lot of tape inside. Wasn't too bad. Packing tape on envelopes, they're too thin to use that stuff, and they got to get a knife, or if they have to use any tool. The only tool I used today was this little X-Acto knife. Now we just get through some tape. I didn't get to use my dagger. Could have used the scissors on a couple of them, but I didn't. And I didn't use my fancy dancy little envelope thing. So it's a lot better than it was before. And here's the final numbers. I didn't give extra credit to any of them. But if you look at that, what's the highest points? Ease of opening. All of these were pretty well easy to open. The next one was presentation. Felt pretty good on a lot of them. They weren't bad. I didn't get any weird stuff like foil and stuff this round. Then you look at the envelope. The envelope was a big thing for me. The A10 envelopes, the bigger envelopes that they can bend. If those were used, a smaller envelope, or made it feel tighter, I think they would have got better a little bit on the envelope, or if they weren't cheaply done envelopes, something felt quality a little bit. I know you can't spend a lot of money when they're just buying a $4 to $5 postcard, but still, you need to protect the product and make it worth it. And the lowest thing was protection. People didn't protect a lot of these cards. They didn't put it in a sleeve. Boards, the stuff like that was really cheap. It wasn't protecting it on there. That is what I found. So protection was a big one in me on there. So if you had a good envelope and you protected it with that good one of these with a sleeve, the points would have went way up there. If you use an A10 envelope with a nice solid piece in there, the points would have went up a little bit. But those are the areas I think is protection and presentation. Presentation, ease of opening, what type of envelope, and cost. Save your cost. That's from a seller standpoint. If you're using stamps.com and you're just doing a few things here and there, get rid of that subscription. Just use the eBay standard envelope. You're going to save right there. The day you do that, you're going to start saving money. But if you're doing a lot, thousands a month, yeah, stamps.com might be something, but ESC does the same thing. You don't need to buy all those little stamp things and print all that stuff out. It just makes it easy. You don't want one with a subscription thing. eBay standard envelope, you only use it when you sell a card. You don't need to pay that subscription every month just to print out a stamp. Go to the post office and get a stamp. Heck of a lot cheaper. The return on investment there, if you're spending $20 a month, it's $200 and some a year. That's a lot of postcards. But I just wanted to do that to see if there was anything innovative. Really, the only thing I saw, not the board, but how he did the tape and put one of these envelopes in there, and you can just pull tab that. That I haven't seen before. That was probably about the only innovative thing I had, and I got a bunch of garbage here to get rid of. And I tell people to go out and do this, and I think it helps from a buyer standpoint, but now you don't have to do that. You can just watch this video. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Here's some fish. Bye.